At first, nothing looked wrong. The lake was calm. The surrounding hills were quiet. There was no earthquake, no explosion, no warning siren. And then, one night, the lake released something invisible into the air. Within hours, thousands of people and animals were dead. The killer was not a monster hiding beneath the surface. It was carbon dioxide. And what happened at Lake Nyos in Cameroon became one of the strangest natural disasters ever recorded. Lake Nyos sits inside a volcanic region of western Cameroon. From the surface, it looks like an ordinary crater lake. But deep beneath it is something much more dangerous. The lake rests above volcanic activity. And beneath the lake, carbon dioxide is naturally produced underground. Normally, that gas can gradually escape. But Lake Nyos had a strange advantage for trapping it. The lake was extremely deep, and its lower water remained separated from the water above. Over many years, carbon dioxide accumulated in the deepest layers. Imagine opening a bottle of soda and leaving it untouched. The carbon dioxide stays dissolved inside the liquid. But shake the bottle, remove the pressure, and suddenly the gas escapes. Something similar can happen inside a volcanic lake. Except Lake Nyos contained an enormous amount of dissolved carbon dioxide. For years, nobody knew how dangerous that hidden reservoir was. Then came August 21, 1986. People living near the lake heard a strange sound. Some described it as a loud rumbling or explosion. Then something happened that was almost impossible to understand. A huge amount of carbon dioxide suddenly escaped from the lake. The gas rushed upward and spilled over the surrounding landscape. And because carbon dioxide is heavier than ordinary air, it stayed close to the ground. It moved downhill. It flowed through valleys. It entered homes. And people had almost no way of knowing what was happening. Carbon dioxide itself is invisible. It has no color. At high concentrations, it can overwhelm the oxygen available for breathing. A person exposed to enough of it can lose consciousness and die without ever seeing the thing that killed them. That night, the gas cloud spread through nearby villages. People who were sleeping never woke up. Others collapsed where they stood. Animals died too. Cattle, goats, dogs, birds. Almost everything caught inside the densest part of the cloud was affected. By the time the disaster was over, approximately 1,700 people had died. Thousands of animals were also killed. The scale of the event was horrifying. But perhaps the most disturbing part was how normal the lake had looked before it happened. There was no giant wave. No wall of fire. No obvious poison spreading across the surface. The danger had been hidden beneath the water for years. Scientists eventually determined that the event was a limnic eruption. It is an extremely rare phenomenon in which dissolved gases suddenly escape from deep lake water. The exact trigger at Lake Nyos has been debated, but one possibility is that a disturbance caused deep, gas-rich water to rise. As the water rose, pressure decreased. Lower pressure allowed more carbon dioxide to come out of solution. That released even more gas. The process could then accelerate rapidly, like opening a bottle of carbonated drink, but on a gigantic natural scale. Once the carbon dioxide escaped, the gas cloud moved outward from the lake. The disaster also revealed something else. Lake Nyos was not the only lake capable of doing this. Another volcanic lake in Cameroon, Lake Manaun, had experienced a similar gas release 2 years earlier. In 1984, dozens of people died there. At the time, scientists did not fully understand what had happened. After the Lake Nyos disaster, the connection became much clearer. The problem was not simply poisonous water. The danger was gas stored inside the lake itself. Scientists then began working on a solution. They installed pipes designed to remove carbon dioxide-rich water from deep inside Lake Nyos. As the deep water rises through the pipe, pressure decreases and carbon dioxide escapes in a controlled way. The goal is to prevent the gas from accumulating until another catastrophic release becomes possible. It sounds simple, but managing an enormous volcanic lake filled with dissolved gas is anything but simple. And Lake Nyos raises a terrifying question. How many other places on Earth could be hiding similar dangers? Scientists know of only a small number of lakes where conditions are especially suitable for massive gas accumulation. But the ingredients are unusual. A deep lake, a volcanic source of carbon dioxide, and water layers that remain stable enough to trap the gas. When those conditions come together, a lake can become a natural reservoir of invisible energy. Most lakes are harmless. They support ecosystems. They provide drinking water. They attract tourists. People swim in them, fish in them, and build communities beside them. Lake Nyos looked like one of those places. Until one night, it became something else entirely. That is what makes this disaster so frightening. The lake did not need to change color. It did not need to boil. It did not need to produce a giant wave. Its most dangerous weapon was something nobody could see. A gas that had been quietly accumulating beneath the surface for years. And when the pressure finally changed, the lake released it all at once. Today, Lake Nyos is closely monitored, and efforts have been made to remove the dangerous gas from its depths. But the story remains a warning about how little we sometimes know about the environments directly around us. Because danger does not always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it waits quietly beneath the surface. Sometimes there is no warning. And sometimes, the most terrifying thing a lake can release is something you cannot see at all.